the record, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm sorry for the wait. I'm trying to find what I've just shared, but it didn't pop out. Share screen, and okay, so um I don't know if you can see the document now. I will share that again. Possible. Okay, probably I will just show the web page. Can you see it now or not? Can you see the share screen now or not? Oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. So yeah, we are talking about the list, the tuples, the sets, the dictionaries, and NumPy. So yesterday we have talked about the list slicing, and we have also talked about string slicing before. And when we talk about like sets, we talk about also the tuples, and a lot of them, they have the similar slicing. So they basically have similar indexes start from 0. They have both positive indexes and negative indices. And also when it's sliced, you have the start value, you have the end value, and you have the step size. And the start value is inclusive and the end value is non-inclusive. Basically, it means that it will stop before the number that is specified for the end. That corresponding elements for the end number is not included, and the step so basically means like how far it's jump each time. Like for example, we code, does it just step 1 VECO, or like step 2 VCD, or like step 3 VO, and blah blah blah. And also what is this? It is also same for the default number. So the default for the start is 0, the default for the end is to the end of the list, and also the default for the step is 1. So when you slice them, you can omit them, but what you should also pay attention to is that even you omit like the default value, you also need to put the double column as like to occupy the position. Otherwise, it would be really confusing. People have no idea about whether it is the end number, or it is a step size, or it is a start value. And we have like, so list slicing, and after list slicing, today we will go over on change item, list insert append and remove, and list pop. So I will share my IDE. And yeah. Okay, so can you see my IDE? When I share today, it is a bit different than yesterday. It does not have that colorful colorful outside for the things that I share, so it's a little bit confusing for me. And it is named tuple So I will start a new file. I will create a new Python file, which I will just call day4. And so I will talk about how to change item in the list. So for example, if we have a list that is called my list, and we have the elements like we code, Python, winter, and to change the item, I will add another one, camp. So to change, we can change the single elements. So my list, the first element we code, we can change that to, like possibly we'll change the second one. We will change the Python to Java, and we can print that out. Print my list, and I will run this file day4, and we can see that we code Java winter in the camp. And we can also change two of them. So from first one to the second one. So 1 to 3 is the first one, and the second one we'll change them to Java. We will change them to Java and possibly Spring. We will print them out. So it changed to Java and Spring. And also, we can actually change like Python to Java and Spring. So we will have one more element in this list. So basically, we can do change the one, and the one equals to two things, so Java and Spring. And so this is a string, but this string is replaced by a list. But if we do list slicing instead of just put the index 1, then we will not like replace the elements as a position 1 to a list, but we will it's similar to append to items into the list. So if we do list slicing and replace this, although like it only replaces one element, it will be append into the list. So we have we code Java Spring, Winter, and the camp. And also we can insert certain elements into a position. So for example, we can insert an element which called Java as a position 1. So 0 and 1. So this should be position 1. It should be inserted here. So our element is called Java, and we can see that in position 1 here is Java. And also we can append an atom at the end of the list. So we can append something called like day4. My list append day4. So we'll see day4 at the end of the list. And also we can remove elements from the list. For example, we are going to remove Python from the list. So we will do remove Python, and we'll print that out again. So we cannot see Python here in this list. And also, if we do remove, we specify the elements that we want to remove, but it's not the indices. If we try to do indices, it will throw an arrow. So what we are going to do, if we are also going to remove Python from this list, but we are going to do that with the indices, as we're going to use pop. So we can pop out the elements as the index of 1. So this is the pop function. And also we can, because like 1 is Java now, so like Java goes away. And if we want to get the Python away, then we'll pop out 2. So now we don't have that. To be more clear, we can delete all those things between. So now we pop out the things that was the index of 2. So this is winter, so we do not see winter here. So basically, that's insert, append, remove, and pop. So all of them only take one argument. So if we try to like pop out two elements, this is not working. If we want to remove two elements, we can see that it is also not working. It will throw an arrow instead. So it's throw an arrow and also append. Will also throw an arrow. So basically, we can only remove, append, or insert one element at a time. And then it's about extend a list. So we have this first list called like we call them Python in this list, and we can have the second list, which we are going to have the rest elements, the winter and the camp, and we want to connect them together. So what we were going to use is that we were going to use the built-in function of the list, which is called extend. So my list extend and my list 2. So the my list 2 will be connect after my list, and we can print out my list to see what it will give us. So basically we called Python and then winter camp. And also, we don't really need to only extend that with a list. We can also extend a list with a tuple. So we can make winter and camp into a tuple. And we will call that like my tuple. And still we can extend the list with this tuple. It will be the same. It will be a list. And also we can talk about how to like delete some elements in the list. It's kind of similar to remove, but what is different is that it can also like take multiple elements. It can take the list as a list slicing. So what we do is that we can write delete, and possibly we will add two more elements to make it more clear. So we can delete like the elements with the index 2 in this list, and we can print that out. So winter goes away. And also we can still do slicing. So for example, we want to delete the element from 1 to 3. So that's the element from 1 to 3, and 3 is not inclusive, so it's Python winter, and we call them camp. And we can also do like 1 to 4, but the step is 2. So the step is 2, then we will delete Python, and the step is 2. So we will also delete camp. And that's like how it's working. Also do this. It is the same because it has the same regulations as list splicing or list slicing. And also we can delete this list, and we delete it and we try to print out this list because we already delete that. So we will not get that. It will throw an arrow because the list no longer exists. And also we want to clear this list, but we do not want to delete that all so that we cannot find it. We will print out an arrow. We just want to print out an empty list. What we can do is that we can use the clear function. So my list clear. We'll clear this list, but the list still exists. It is just an empty list. Empty list. That's what we can see here. And then we will talk about how to traverse through a list. So we have the list here, and the first is we will use the built-in function of the list, which is we can simply write for each element in the list, my list. And what we can do is we can like print out each element. So we call Python winter and camp. And the second is that we can use the length function, and we will use the range as well. So we have this range, and the range will equals to length my list, so that we can traverse to the last element in the list. But if you don't want to get to the last element, you can do like length -1, length -2. It's also fine. But if we want to get like traverse it through a list, then that's what we are going to do. But we cannot use I now. I simply means 1, 2, 3, 4. No, like 0, 1, 2, 3 now. So we are now going to print out I. So basically we can try that. First, it will print 0, 2, 3. So what we do is that we will use list slice. So basically for list slice, it's my list and we have bracket I and it will print out the elements we call Python winter in the camp. And we can also try to do that with the while loop. So for while loop, the I is not in a range, it is not initiate. So we need first write I equals to 0, and we have while I smaller than the length of my list. What we do is that we will print out the elements with the list slice again, because print out I, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3 is not what we want. And we also need to remember to do I equals to I plus equal to 1. Otherwise, it will print out 0 again, and it never exits the loop, and your storage will be filled up because it just print out a lot of things. So in this way, it will print out we call Python winter and camp again. That's what we want. And then I'm going to talk about list comprehension. So list comprehension is a brief version of like when you want to traverse through a list with certain conditions. That's when you can use list comprehension. You can still use the traditional forms, but for list, if you want to make it more Pythonic, list comprehension is something that can do that. So basically the rule is that you have this new list, or like you have something that basically equals to expression and for item in iterable iterable if the condition is true. That's the basic format for that. So expression is like if you want to print out x, if you want to print out like x upper, x plus 5, and for item is like the item in a list. So the item can be like I or x. So like x here, like x upper here is just x in the list, and this is a list that can be traversed, that is iterable, and when the condition equals true. So like possibly if you add a list of the numbers, the condition can be like mod 2 equals to 0, or like it can be like if you want to print out all a's, then the condition is like the element equals to a is true. So we can like create my list like A and then B and then C and D and then E. And so for the list comprehension, we need to remember to add this brackets, otherwise it does not know like they're all together. So we can print out the X for all X. In iterable here is just my list. And we will get each element in the list. And for like here's expression. So expression does not have to be the exact element in the iterable. So it can be like upper. No, not upper because it's already in uppercase. So we'll do lower because it's already in lowercase, in uppercase. Then you get A, B, C, D. You also like get like check that whether it's numerical, you get false, 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 false. So that's like about expression. Expression is not exact element. And also you can do that. You can add a condition. So if X like equals to C, or like x equals to a, then if it equals to a, then it will print out. If it equals to c, it will be print out. So you get AC, not in this sequence because this is a condition. And also if we have the number, so like random number, what we can do is that we can do like if x mod 2 equals to 0, and wait, I'll change some numbers to make it a bit more easy to explain that. So yeah, basically all the number here that can mod 2 is printed out. You can also do like for the expression, you don't need to be the exact element, so x plus 5, or like you can still do like x mod 2. Then if in mod 2, because the condition is mod 2 equals to 0, then it will all be 0. So that's what we get. And also we can use a function in the list, which is called sort. So my list, and we can sort it with the sort function. You can print out my list. So it will be sorted in order 1, 2, 3, 12, 12, 14, 3. And also we can add some alphabet into this list. So also like C, A. We can add some element like this, and we'll print that out again. So like it says that sort is not supported between instance of string and int. So what we can do is that we can make all of them into string, because string and int is not like compare the size. So if you compare the size, then you can compare the string and the list. But here it can only like compare the size of the number or compare the size of the string according to its ASIC number. So then we're going to compare it in ASIC code. So according to ASIC codes, the uppercase should be in front of the lowercase, and uppercase A should be in front of uppercase C, and in front of uppercase K and Z, and the number should in front of all the alphabets. So that's the sort function. And we can also sort that reversely. So basically, we will let the reverse equals to true, then it will be all the offsets. And also, instead of doing sort parenthesis reverse equals to true, we can also do my list reverse. It will have the same effect. So it's basically like this. And it actually has some difference. So the difference is that no, sorry, yeah. What I'm going to say is like sort, if that is sort in the reverse, so like sort in the other direction, but doing that simply reverse does not solve the function. It simply does like the reverse of this. So whatever is this, it will be reversed, but it will not help sort it. But that's what we can do. And what we can also do is that we can copy the list, because if we do not copy the list, if we modify the list, and if you like just let one list equals to the other, so my list 2 equals to my list, and if we modify my list 2 and then you print out my list again, then you will find that my list has actually been modified without directly modifying my list 2. So what if we want to just modify my list 2 without touch my list 1, then you need to copy that. So first we can try that why I say that when you like just added 1, the other will be also modified. So minus 2 equals to minus 1. And if we modify like the first, like the second, or like the elements with the index equals to 1 here. So we modify the 2 to like 200. And what we can do is that we can print out my list. You will see that even you only modify my list 2, my list is also modified. So my list is 200 now. And what you want to do to not modify that is we want to copy my list. And then you can print out my list and my list 2. You will find that my list 2 has 200 here, but my list 3 got 2. So my list is 2. My list 2 is 200. And also another way of copy it is a built-in function of the list, which is not copy, but you can do list and my list 1. It will have the same effect. So my list 2 is modified, but because it's copied, it's not the same one. My list will still give the original value 2. And then I would also talk about list concatenation. So here we have like list 2. We can make that to be like we code and then Python. Now we can join these two lists together. My list 2. So they will simply be joined together. That's just use the operator plus. That's what plus can do. But also instead of doing plus, we can also do extend. So we can extend my list with my list 2 to print that out. After extend, yeah, we cannot print out this, but we will print out my list. So we will have the same thing. We call them Python at being just added at the end. I will check the chat. Will we be doing Python related to data science and extraplanet and etc.? I think we would not have time to cover that, but what I would say is that if you have like question for that, we can like you can like message me, private message me through the email, and we can like talk about that individually, because I think in this camp it's like quite limited. But yeah, if you are like interested in that, definitely you can just private message me and we can like hold an individual session on that. It's definitely fine. Also, like it's good to know about like someone interested in that. And also, yeah, today's document, I'll send that again. And then I will got also for the, so like basically the method in the list including append. So basically append element at the end, which we have talked about yesterday. My list, the append, like append 27. We have the 27 append here, and also my list clear, which we will talk about that it will give us a empty list as a result. And also copy, so it will copy a new list. So when we modify that, we will not modify the original one. And also we have counts. So counts basically count the number of elements with a specified value. So my list count. Well, let's count 25 here. No, like 15 will give us 0 because we don't have 15, but 25 we have 3 of them, so that is my list count. And also we have extend that we have just talked, so I will not talk again, and index, so it will return the index of the elements. So my list index of 25, it will print out the first the index of the first 25 in the list. So the first 25 in the list is 0, 1, 2. It will not print out the second or the third one, but also like it will just print out the first one for all the time. And then we also have insert. So insert is specified value in the list, which we have also just talked about that today. Insert 1 and 1 in the position of 1 with insert a 1. So print that out. My list. In the position of 1, we will have an extra 1 here. And also we have the remove, as we have just talked about that. We can remove 25, and it will remove the first 25, will not remove the second and third. And also we have the reverse, so just reverse the function, reverse. And also we can sort the function, or sort, so that's basically all the methods in the list. And then we will talk about tuple. So basically tuple looks like this. It is with the parentheses, my list tuple, and we can print out my tuple. And so the difference between list and tuple is list. So first, like the similarity is that both of them are ordered, and both of them are ordered, but lists are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. And tuples are ordered and unchangeable, and also it allow duplicate values. And the lists are written with brackets, and tuples are written with parentheses. And also create a list with only one item is just similar to like a list with multiple elements. So basically we can like just, so when you do a list, my list equals to 1, and you can print that out. You can print the list out, and also you can check the type. So the type of that list should be a normal list, which if you do this and print that out, it will just turn out list. But if you do this, like this is tuple, it's not called my list, but let's just let it call my list. It's not giving tuple for us, but it's giving int. And also we can do like when this is tuple, so it's giving string, but for a list, it will give you list no matter you only have a 1 element or not. But if you have like 2 elements in a tuple, and it will give you a tuple, it will not give you the let on the int or string. So that's the difference between the list and the tuple. And then so we can try to test that why tuple is not being able to be modified. So we have a tuple here, like we code, and then Python, and winter. So basically we can print that out first. Print out my tuple, print out my tuple. Okay, not memory review, that's another type of data. So print out my tuple, and then we can try to modify the tuple, like modify the first the elements with the corresponding index equals to 1, and we can modify that to Java, and we can print that out, my tuple, and what we will see is that it will throw an arrow. So arrow on tuple object does not support item assignment, which means that it does not support being modified. And then for the tuple, a similarity with the list is that it also has a length function. So length my tuple equals to 3, and also we can also like print out each element in my tuple, and we also have tuple slicing, which is just similar to list slicing. So the 0 is the elements with corresponding 0 is we code, and with corresponding 1 is Python, and we can have -1 as winter, and we can have list slicing like from 0 to 2, then it will print out the 0 and the 1 indexes corresponding elements. So we code in Python, and we add another one to demonstrate that better. So we can also do like from 0 to 3, so 0 to 1 to 0, 1 to 3, so 3 is not included, so we code Python winter. And also we can slice the entire tuple, but the step equals to 2. So we call it the winter. And also the end number can be really, really large, but it will still go to the end of the tuple without throwing an arrow. Just like the list, it is similar. And also we can just do negative slicing, like from -1 to -3 with the negative step -1. It is all the same as a list. When you try to slicing a tuple. And what we can also do is that we can check the elements in tuple. So we can check like if Python is in tuple, and if that is in tuple, then we can print out yes. So that's also tuple check elements that is built into that. I have 2 questions in the chat. How did you highlight the code and comment out multiple lines at the same time? So basically what you can do is command plus slash or on control plus slash, depending on whether you use Mac or you use Windows. That what you can do to multiple lines at the same time. And for highlights, what you can do is just triple quote and triple quotation mark at the beginning, triple quotation mark at the end, then you highlight that. So also like if you control slash and it will become commented out, but control slash again, it will bring you back everything that you just commented out. So yeah, that's basically those about the comment. And then we will return to tuple. We can also like because tuple is not being able to be modified, what we can do to modify a tuple is that we can change that to a list and then change that back into a tuple. So we can create a tuple called again, like we called Python, the winter, the camp. We call Python winter camp, and we can turn the tuple into a list with a casting function list and then tuple. And for the list, we can modify the first elements like Python into Java. And then we can let the tuple equals to the
efecto de
and what? What did you say? Can you like repeat the question, or you can like send your question into the chat box? So like I can cast the list into a tuple, and then I can print out my tuple. So this time my tuple is being modified, so tuple itself is unable to be modified. So we code Java winter the camp. And also tuple is not being able to be modified, so it does not have append function, a remove function, a insert function. If you want to append or remove or insert, all you can do is just like this, turn that into my list and modify the list, and then casting the list back into tuple, so we can like append. We can append the element into the list, so we can append day 4, and we print out day 4 because cast into a list and cast back into a tuple. And also we can do the remove because we now are in a list, so we can remove Python. And remove Python, we can do my list pop Python as the one with index 1, so pop 1, and we can also do like insert at the position of 1, we will insert Java, so we will get, we call the Java Python winter camp. So that's basically what we can do to modify that. And we can also delete tuple was the delete function, so delete my tuple, and we can print the tuple again, so we will not have the tuple now, it will throw an arrow because we have deleted that. And we can also unpack the tuple by writing the tuple out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 elements, and it equals to my tuple. So A will be corresponding with we code, B will be corresponding with Python, C will be corresponding with winter. So basically, you can print them out individually. Print A, print B. So like print D, print C is the same. So I will not do that. We call Python the camp. And thank you for people who helped me sharing the link. Thank you so much. And we can also join the tuple together, or we can do multiply the tuple. We can also multiply the list, which I will show that later. So first I will multiply the tuple. So we can create my tuple 2, and we can just multiply that, and we can print out that, out, my tuple 2. So it will bring us, it will like multiply it 2 times and join them together. We can also like join 2 tuple together with like we code, and just my tuple plus tuple 2, and it will print out we code Python winter camp. We code this should be made into tuple. You cannot connect with string, so I just forgot to add a comma, and when you only have one element, it will not recognize it as tuple. So yes, this is the right way to do that. And also what we can also do is we can actually also do list join and list multiplication. So I haven't do that yet. So for example, we have my list, and my list equals to, I should not delete all of them because then I will retype them. That's fine. So my list, we call them Python. If we print out my list, multiply by 2, it will be actually the same as what we have seen as a tuple. It's like we can like have that 10 times. Also, for even for the number, if we have like 1 and 3 here, it will not give you like 10 and 13, but it will give you like 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3 like this. If you want to print out 10 and 13, then you will need NumPy, which I will talk about later. But then I will talk about stats. So if we create my stats, which is called like we code the Python, the winter, the camp, we'll create another one because when we have the stats, we usually compare them, we should do the union of them, or we usually find the intersection of them. So I will do 2 of them. So this would be like Java, and winter can be like spring because Java spring camp. And first is that we can do the union of them. So just like the mathematical union, just find all the common elements of them, put them together. If they have repetitive elements, then ignore the repetitive elements, only just add the repetitive element for once. That's union. So my set 2 union my set 1, my set union my set 2 is the same if you put my set 2 or my set 1 one in bracket, one before that, because union just does the same thing, just like what it does mathematically. What we can also do is that we can do my set and put this, and then do my set 2. My set 2, it is also union. It is just the same. So just like this, my set and my set and my set and my set 2. So this is what it looks like. It is the same. And also we can find the intersection of my set and my set 2. So basically the intersection should be we code and camp because they are not similar. So we code and camp is similar, that is the intersection of these two sets. So my set intersection, my set 2, or here we can use and as intersection. Intersection, my set 2, yeah. So it will print out the same thing. This is intersection, this is also intersection. And then we also can find the difference between two sets. So the difference, if like the difference between the first set and the second set, Winter is unique, Python is unique in terms of my set to my set 2. So you print out Winter and Python. We code and the camp are the same, so it will not be printed out. I'll go back to this page. And also difference is the same. If you do that, like my set and my set 2, it will print out the unique value, and my set difference, my set 2, it will also print out that. And also you can do the reverse. So if you do my set 2, my set 2, my set here, then it will give you Java and Spring. And then we can talk about the set and subset and supersets. So subset basically means that just similar to that mathematically, whether the set 2 is being if the set 2 is being just contained in set 1, or like set 2 is a part of the set 1, then it should be a subset of the set 1, and the set 1 should be a superset of set 2. So we can change like the first one to like we can change my set 2 to we call Python Winter and camp, and my set 1 co-host, right? Okay, I'll do that. And then my set. So my set, we can make that equals to we code and Python code, then Python. So we know that my set should be a subset of my set 2 by like looking at it, but we will also try to check that with Python language. So basically, the first you can check is that whether it's like a true subset is like whether it's subset is like whether it's smaller or equal to, whether it's a true subset then just like smaller. So like whether it's smaller or equal to check whether it's a set. My set is a set of is a subset of set 2, so it is, so it is true. But what you can also do is that basically use else subsets. We know that Python just have a lot of else function, which will print out a boolean for checking whether something is true or not. So whether it is subset of my set 2, it is true. And we also can check whether my set 2 is a superset of my set. It will also print out true. But we can also do that reversely. It will all print out false. If we believe that my set is a superset of my set 2, then it should print out false. And also, if like my set 2 is a subset of my set, it should also be false. And my set is a superset of my set is superset. It's smaller. It contains less element. It's not a superset of my set 2, so it should also print out false. And also, my set has elements add. So we can do like my sets. We have the function called add. So we can add like winter here. And also like we can print out my set, print my set. And we will see that it's now we code Python winter. So it adds winter as the very first. And also what we can also do, it adds in the very first, because for the set, it's every element is unique. It's not like less of tuple, the element is not unique. Just like when we talk about set mathematically, also the element is unique. You will not have repetitive elements, so it will sort that automatically with like its own rule. So it just put winter at first. So the index is not something that is important in set, because set is not defined by index. It's just something, the sequence doesn't really matter, but what it really contained mattered. So we can also like remove. So my set2, for example, we can like remove camp, remove camp, remove camp, remove camp, and then we can print out my set2 again, print my set2, and we can see that my set2 now equals to, we call the Python winter. They're the same now because we have modified them. And then what we will talk about is that we will go to dictionary. So dictionary, we can create a dictionary as example. So for example, we can have like the country name and the city, the country name as a key and the city as a value. So what before the double column is called the key, and what after that is called the values. So we can have like Italy, the capital city is Rome, and then we can have another one like German. The capital city for Germany is Berlin. Okay, and then here should be this. And also we can also add numbers. So let's just add some random thing, like a number. The key is the number, and also the value is also a number. Some random thing is also fine. Also we can do like the key is a string, not Germany, possibly just some random thing, and we have like the value is a number. We can also do the opposite. It's all fine. The key can be anything, and also the value also can be anything. You can print that out. So like it's a curly bracket here. You should remember that. Just like set is also a curly bracket. It's something you should remember. So we can print out my list. We will print out this, and also what we can do is that because it's a dictionary, so when we call the keys, then we should get the value. So for example, we will call the key which is France. So we will write the bracket, and in the bracket we call the key called France, and it will print out the value which is called Paris. And the same if we do for the other. And also we can do the same by, we can get the value of the corresponding key was get function of the dictionary. So this is the same. This is the same way that you can get the value of that key, and also you can print out all the keys. So all the keys are from Italy, German 131, and QWE, QWE. And so what we would do is that we will print dictionary and its keys, because we do not only have one key. So remember that it's S, so France, Italy, German with win, and QW, QWE. And also we can print out the value. So value is Paris, Rome, Berlin, and the other two number. So there's two number, and my dictionary dot values. Print out all the values, stick values, and also we can print out the items. So I will just demonstrate that item S, remember to add the S. So the items, it will print out in tuple on each group of keys, and the value will be in a tuple. And what we can do is that we can also change and update the dictionary. So what we can do is that my dictionary, and we have France, for example, and we can change the key of the France to like PPPP, and we can print that out again. Yeah, we'll print that out, so it has been modified to PPPP, And also another way we can do that is that we can do that with updates. So my dictionary updates, and we will update a group of them. So for example, we want to update like Italy, Rome. So we will update the Italy. We have the key, which is called Rome, but now probably not Rome Zoom. We will bring out like Zoom, and that's like the way that we are going to do that. And basically, that's the way that we can update a dictionary. And the next class, we are going to talk about the packages, but I hope that you can install the packages in advance. So I will share the screen, and what I'm going to talk about is that I hope that, so for this class, you can download, you can open your terminal and you can like enter your directory. So you can type like pipe install numpy and also type, I will send into the chat. So first is pipe install, pipe should not be capitalized, but Zoom kind of helped me to automatically capitalize it. So just do not capitalize that. Pipe install numpy, pipe install pandas. Possibly we'll get to pandas, possibly we will not have the time, but you can install that because it's really useful. Pipe install matplotlib. Just NumPy and matplotlib is more important because we will definitely talk about those two. And also, for example, for me, I use PyCharm, and I'll demonstrate how to like install that with the PyCharm. If anyone need to leave now, feel free to leave. And so for like, I will share the screen possibly because probably you cannot see that in this way. I'll share screen, share my desktop entirely. Yeah, you can see my desktop now. So this is PyCharm. We go to preference. Where is it? So the preference just jump out. We go to interpreter. And so we use like, we call demo. It's possibly loading a bit slow, but we can get to setup tools, and then we just search NumPy, and we will click install package, and it will take some time to install that. And after that, it will show like NumPy installed successfully. Also, you should also just also install matplotlib. Thank you so much. Install matplotlib, and it will take some time to install that. So that's what are you going to do in PyCharm, and while it's installed. So what you can also do is that you can open like Launchpad, and then so here, this is a terminal for Mac, and if it's Windows, you will also find your terminal. So you will write pipe install numpy, and it will take a second, and it will return to you like installation, like blah blah blah, blah, and also like complete the like assignment or like complete the installation, something like that. That's what you can do. And what you can also do that is so basically, if you use Anaconda while this is installed, I will show how to do that in Anaconda. So where's my Anaconda? Second. This is my Anaconda navigator, Anaconda navigator. Take a second to launch. So if you use other, if you use like other IDE and you have problem install that, please just put the question into today's worksheet, and I will try to give you the instruction about that. So this is Anaconda, and go to environment and go to like not installed or like select all. And personally, I have already installed them, so I will not like be able to install them if I choose not install. So here you have NumPy, and if you haven't installed that, so you will have like click this and you have an install here, but I have already installed that. But I will like just try that with something that I hadn't installed. So it's a little bit slow, not installed, updatable. It's not getting out. So yeah, so basically you will see the package and click the package, tick that, and then you are going to just click install. You can see that like at the, for me it's at like the bottom right part. That's about like Anaconda Navigator. Could you list everything we need to install here? Yeah. So definitely NumPy and Matplotlib. NumPy and Matplotlib. And also if you want to know more about pandas, or like if you want to know more about data frame and or like how to import the XIA or CSV into the Python and do like do some like data analysis with the data from the XIA or the CSV, then you can install pandas. And also if you are a science student, as like a physics or a math student, then SciPy and SymPy will be also important, but we will not have time to go over that. But I will definitely send the extra materials about like SciPy and SymPy as the last class. We will not be doing Panda tomorrow, I think, because we still need to get to NumPy and get to Matplotlib, and they took a lot of time that I would like put pandas into the guide. So yeah, so if you have any question, please feel free to ask them. Yeah. So I will stop sharing. And thank you so much. Please ask any question, just feel free to do so. Thank you. Also, like I hasn't updated assignment today because today we hasn't got to NumPy, and I don't really have we don't really have assignment for like list comprehension or for like set, but what you can do to practice with list comprehension is that you can just practice the coding best list and try to use list comprehension. Try to like put all your code in single line. So list comprehension basically can print out all the things in a single line. That's what you can do with the province in coding bats. But if you like don't use that, it will not give you arrow. It will still give you the stars. So if you have problem with that, so just put the questions into the document, or just private message me, or like send a message like which everyone can see, or private message depend on what you want into the Slack channel. My Slack shut down today, so I don't know like whether I can get back to Slack tomorrow morning, but I will try to like re-download my Slack or something. This, wait, it's not spicy. I think it auto cracked my. It's called SciPy. It's not spicy. Auto cracks. So sorry, it's like SciPy, but when I just try to type that, it's just SciPy. Yeah, SciPy. It just keep auto cracked my words. It's so annoying. Like also like for a lot of things like pipe install, pipe should not be capitalized. but Python helped me capitalize that. But everyone like when you try to type that, don't capitalize type. It does not make sense. Zoom is just so annoying. It just keep auto-correct all the words. Auto capitalize the first word. It's just annoying. Thank you so much. What do I type into the terminal to check if I have successfully installed the package? I will send that to you later because I think it's also like depends on like different software, depend on whether you use Mac, like whether you use Mac or use Windows. And I just have to type install package name again. Yeah, yeah, that's also what you can do that. Yeah, it will like also like after you install that, it will show you like NumPy installed successfully. And if you retype that, it will show you like you have already installed that. Or sometimes like for some software, it will like for some terminal, it will show you like install that again, but it will show you like installed successfully at the end. So yeah, and also if you want to like import, like try to like see that if you have import successfully, you can also test that in IDE. So basically you can import NumPy as MP. I'll share my screen. It's hard to type into the chat box because chat box keeping auto correct my messages, which is super annoying. Just try to. So what you can do is that you can try import NumPy and like import NumPy as MP. You can just try to print out like MP dot cosine or something like that. Just print out that. Just try that. No module. Just name it NumPy because I hadn't successfully import that into my IDE. So if I have successfully, for example, like this, I hasn't like import in we call day 2, but we call demo. I have imported into that into this document. So I can create a new file here, or I can just add this boolean function. So here, comment them out, and I have import NumPy here. So import MP as NumPy and print NumPy dot like cosine 30. They can print that out. So basically, I will run this called boolean and print that out. You will get some results. That means that your NumPy has been successfully installed and you can now use that. Also, you can now you can do like not import NumPy as MP, but just do import NumPy. But usually we do import NumPy as MP because if you have a lot of things to type, import NumPy as MP is certainly much more concise. If anyone have extra questions, you can send them now or put that into worksheet. Let me check the question. So type install, and what do you type into the terminal? And yeah, SciPy. I think SciPy, I should definitely send that into the chat box. I'll send that into Slack because I think someone would just try to install Spicy. That doesn't make any sense. SciPy is just for science, py. So py like stand for Python, or like the the extension name for Python is .py. So SciPy, but like SciPy, it's not spicy. And pandas. Yeah, if you want to know more about Panda, just I can like fix that. I can like send you some materials or like record some extra video after this camp. If you don't have question, feel free to leave. And yeah, Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I think I don't know like how to read the name, but Shrana, I don't know. Did I pronounce that right? I've just see your message, but after I saw your message, my Slack shut down. So, what's your message about? Is your message about like, could I sound some materials or like sound the recordings? Is that what the message is about? I forgot that, but I think I saw your message. Do you want to like repeat that? Because my Slack just shut down. But I think hasn't like answered that question, but it's certainly something that I can do. Oh, I remember. Do you ask like about can you like get a certificate if you like miss like the first lesson and you have done the assignment? Yeah, like certainly you can do. Certainly you can have the certificate. And thank you for doing the assignment. Thank you so much. I will stop share. I don't know if you have any question, but I will first pause the recording